Welcome back to the Junior Moneymakers Podcast, the show where I help you teach your kids how to become young entrepreneurs that can start and grow their own business. So today was a pretty great day. Even though it's nearly winter, the weather warmed up here today and the temperature actually got up into the 70s again. The weather was so nice, I decided to stretch out and go for a run, which was really great. I had a great dinner with the family, and then I actually got to talk to a listener family for almost an hour before I recorded this episode. Honestly, I'm really amazed at the quality of listeners tuning into this show every week, and I really do appreciate the time you take to send me email, leave me iTunes reviews, and jump on Skype or Zoom. Saying thank you doesn't seem like enough, but really, thank you. Thank you, and if you ever need anything from me, don't hesitate to reach out to me over email. I will happily do anything I can to help you and your family reach your goals. So, let's get into this episode. My family and I are headed to Orlando in November, and I want to make sure I'm in the best possible shape before we go. You see, when the rope drops at Walt Disney World, I want to be able to hoist my 2-year-old on my shoulders, lift the stroller up over my head, and race like a madman to Peter Pan so that we can be the first family waiting in line. So part of that is getting this really strict running routine going. And while I was out running today, it was a lot harder than I thought it would be. Not because I'm getting old, but because while the weather was hot, fall is definitely here, and the track I run on was completely covered in fallen leaves. So around the 4th time I almost twisted my knee, I thought to myself, why hasn't anyone come and cleaned these leaves up yet? An idea for an episode was born. So let's talk about raking leaves. On my very first episode, I broke down the basics of the lawnmower business, which is a kid hustle that most grown-ups remember fondly as our first job. You see, with the weather changing, if you live anywhere north of Florida, falling leaves have probably had a huge impact on your neighborhood. And while I did talk about raking leaves on episode 1, I thought it was worth getting a little more specific on this episode. While grass seems to grow like crazy, especially in early to late summer, it has absolutely nothing on falling leaves. Once fall begins, it seems like I rake my entire yard, bag it up, and turn around only to find it coated in a fresh layer of fallen leaves all over again. Raking and bagging can be hard work and it takes a lot of time. So if you strike while the iron is hot, you can make a pretty good income this fall by taking care of all of your neighbors. So how are you going to go out and get customers? First, before you start your leaf raking kid hustle, you need to make sure that you're in compliance with all laws and regulations and that you have your parents' permission. Now, back on episode 23, I talked about going door to door and some of the limitations in each state. If you haven't checked that episode out yet, I highly suggest you do it. If you're in a city or state that allows you to go door to door, I would definitely ping my neighbors and figure out how you can help them. If you're not able to go door to door, you can still hand out flyers by tying them to door handles with rubber bands. Your best bet, however, is likely going to be starting with the neighbors that you already know, like the ones on your left and right, or the ones directly across the street. That, and find the neighborhoods with houses that look like they need a full service raking. As long as you don't violate door to door rules, you should go up and knock and talk. If that isn't an option where you live, go ahead and leave your contact info on a flyer on the doorstep. Now, how much you charge will vary depending on the size of the yards in your neighborhood, but I'm telling you flat out, a very typical going rate for a standard sized lawn is about $50. Now, we're not talking about a lawn with a few tiny leaves here. We're talking about a lawn that is covered with leaves in need of a thorough raking and bagging. One lawn at $50 more than pays for your business license and any supplies you might need. Now, I know for a fact that a lot of neighborhoods don't have anyone reliable to handle this kind of work, and the evidence you see driving around testifies to that. If you're a hardworking kid that isn't afraid to get dirty, you can easily make a few $100 a week or more raking lawns this season. But you have to strike fast before winter sets in. Okay, so now you have a few ideas about how to get clients and what pricing models to use. Let's talk about 3 tips to help you rake in some cash. See what I did there? Tip 1. When you pick a neighborhood you want to service and you're legal, print enough flyers to put one on every door. Bonus, to put a picture of your family or something relatable on the flyer and make it fun if you can. Use a site like canva.com to make something up in a GIF. Tip 2. Get flyers up at your church, community center, community boards, community mailboxes, etc. This is a great way to get business in new neighborhoods. If someone from your church invites you over this weekend to rake, I would use that time to drop flyers at every other house in the neighborhood. People will see you raking and hopefully you'll do a good job and earn their interest in hiring you. Tip 3. If you want to scale this business, hire some trustworthy friends to help you out. Now, this can be a tricky area, but you have to do your research on what you can and can't do. That being said, you can hire a few friends for a fraction of your fee, especially if you're charging $50 or more, and they can help you knock out lawns in half the time. Bringing on a few buddies can allow you to accomplish 2 or 3 lawns in the time it takes to do one. Just be careful not to hire the friend you'll have the most fun with. Hire the friend that will work the hardest and follow directions. Raking leaves in the fall is a classic business idea that anyone living north of Florida should look into. I've seen job ads for over $250 to rake a single yard, but I also know that raking those yards can take upwards of 10 hours. I'm telling you this is hard work that is very rewarding, but it will definitely make you sore the next day, which is honestly a really good thing. We all need more exercise, and this job is basically like working out. And I don't know anywhere else you're going to get paid to work out all day. Do you? One other thing. When you're mowing lawns this week, make sure to save the pine needles and pine cones. Next week, I'm going to tell you all about a Christmas-based business idea that will let you turn some of those trimmings into a winter-based kid hustle. But if you want to know more about that, you're going to have to tune in next week and I'll tell you all about it. So thanks again for listening to the show, and don't forget to sign up for my email list where I send you tips, tricks, and money-making ideas every single week. The easiest way to do that is to go to juniormoneymakers.com, and parents, you can put your name and email address right on the front page. It's been awesome talking to you today. I've been your family's financial mentor, Mark, and until I see you again, remember to dream big and change the world. The views expressed on this program in no way represent the views of the United States Air Force, the Department of Defense, or the United States government, and are solely those of the host and their guest. Additionally, the ideas in this program should only be tried after ensuring compliance with all laws and regulations, and then only with parents' permission. Finally, while we believe in every idea we present, we cannot guarantee your results, as all individual results will vary. Now, what is a tree's least favorite month? September.